January 24th, 2024, meeting of the County Facilities Committee. We'll begin this morning with approval of the minutes from the prior committee meeting. Supervisor Conover, second by Supervisor Stroh. Any discussion, comments, etc.? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Privilege of the floor. Any members of the public care to comment? Offer any comments? No. You sure?
Hi.
Okay, good. There being none, we'll move on to the airport action agenda, new business items. I don't know, Mr. Mapp, do you want to?
I'm actually going to start with the first one, and then I'm going
Okay.
to let Robin go with the discussion item. So the first one is a request to apply for a grant to FAA New York State DOT. So we needed to have a grant in by the end of January. So we asked that ratify the action of the chairman of the board and execute the grant. He's already signed it. We've already submitted it. And this is for the master plan project that we had discussed towards the end of last year. You'll see the breakdown of the cost for it. 90% of it is funded by FAA, 5% by the county, and 5% by DOT. And our funding portion we have in our transfers to capital projects, so we're all set. So this is to ratify the actions of the chairman of the board for signing that application.
Very good. Have a motion, Supervisor Stroh, second by Supervisor Diamond. Any discussion? Questions, comments? No? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Next, discussion items and Mr. Mapp.
I'll take that one. So running through this quite quickly. The first discussion item is the solar farm project. The update is that we're aiming for a spring construction start date. Once the weather cooperates and everything goes according to plan, we have that construction beginning in the spring.
That's both
Both sides.
Yeah,
South and north, southern and north.
thank you.
Moving on to the second point, higher construction project, again, spring construction once the weather cooperates. We just completed the bidding process. Bast Hatfield Construction won the general contractor and Spring Electric won electrical. It's a $1.5 million project, 90 and 10. This is state funded. It would look to generate $27,000 annual revenue for the airport and for the county.
Very good.
And
Thank
as
you.
long as we're talking about higher construction, we also was awarded, as you guys would know, a $2.5 million project in 2025 for the demolition and reconstruction of the old house.
Thank you.
Point three, the Precision Approach Path Indicator, PAP project. Again, Baseline King was awarded that project. We're looking at spring construction. There will be notices regarding airport closures, runway closures for this project in particular. We are going to bundle these projects with discussion item 4, airfield marking. We're going to do some touch-up work on runway 119, as well as taxiways. So there will be notices regarding airports and runway closures during spring. We'll try to give them at least a month notice so pilots and attendants can coordinate their schedules accordingly.
Very good.
And discussion item 5, FAA release renewal. The FAA currently leases equipment room in the main terminal building. They're seeking to renew that lease. It expires in September. It'll be $4,000 a year for the first 10 years and then $5,000 for the next 10 years. And it's currently within the county's attorney's office reviewing that agreement. Not mistaken.
They're reviewing the lease for renewal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The air
Sure.
The air show.
Yeah.
Bit of bad news, unfortunately. We were unsuccessful in the 2025 approach. We are currently listed as alternate airport in case someone else falls out for 2025, but we will be trying again for 2026. We were not successful with Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, Golden Eagles, and discussing with the air show network, it's best to have a marquee attraction for the first air show. So we've decided to have just a big air show as opposed to having a smaller air show in 2025. We've just decided to have a bigger air show in 2026, and we'll try again at that time. Any questions relating to that?
So what we're trying for or to do is to get a marquee event, if you will.
Like a headliner, basically.
Yep.
Right. And so we will try again in 2026.
Any idea what the likelihood of that is? I know it's a ways out.
Low relatively speaking, but we still have a year of trying to get, approvals.
Do you know what they look at, what they base that on, what attracts them to?
Yeah, sure. So the Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, Golden Knights, they're generally promotion for military teams. So they kind of try to attract people to sign up for the military. So generally they look for areas with demographics of relatively younger individuals, unfortunately. Beyond that, there are incentives that we can offer these teams to hopefully make us a little bit more appealing as a destination. And we'll work with the Airshow Network to kind of have it sweeten the pot, as it would say.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we are working with the Office of Emergency Services for an aircraft emergency exercise. Given the size of our operation, this is not mandatory to have a live drill event at the airport. However, we decided it's prudent just to have one of these exercises every couple of years. We are aiming for October, hopefully. And we are also being assisted by the Department of Homeland Security. So we're working with Office of Emergency Services and being assisted with Homeland Security.
I had one last thing to add is, I know there's not any new supervisors necessarily on this committee. But I know there are some new supervisors within the county now, I believe 6 new ones. Mr. Strainer is not necessarily new, he's been here before, but Robin and I are offering any supervisor who wants to take a tour of the airport, what we do out there, how we run the airport, to please, I can set it up for a group or I can set it up for individuals. But please reach out to myself or Robin and we'd be happy to take you for a tour of the airport.
Thank you. Any no referral or pending items?
Robin, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Moving on to the buildings and grounds agenda. Privilege of the floor, any public comments, et cetera? If not, we're going to take under discussion items. I'm going to move item number 6 to the top, in deference to the Honorable Judge Mueller. And
It's nice to get deference once.
welcome.
Poorly I get treated. Well, thank you. I guess you know who I am. My own agenda this morning is that I wanted to be in a position to issue to an extraordinary sculptor, John Van Alstyne, who's here, and to get the county to give some thought to some of the things that could be done on this campus to enhance what we have here. I've been coming to this building for over 40 years. For 16 of them, I've been down in the court wing, and beautiful work was done over the years with the whole court wing. And my attention was drawn to the notes on the agenda here that there are some design updates to the front entrance. Well, I didn't know anything about that, but I wouldn't normally anyway. But that was when I got involved with John, who I've known for many years, and I'm familiar with his work. So my role was really to just be a facilitator, to get the discussion going. And I also asked Robert Niemer, who is also well acquainted with John's work, and in that same vein. So that was my point in being here. Thanks for taking us early so we can move on with other things. But I'd like to move this to my co-conspirators.
sure. Done.
Thank you, Robert.
Yep.
We got wind, and Robert shared with me that there's a
Could
possibility
you
that you're gonna
use
have
the
some.
podium, please?
All right.
There's a PA system. Thank you.
We got wind that you're gonna be doing some upgrades and updates and renovations to parts of the facility. And we would like to have a seat at the table, or at least be considered, plant a seed, so that if there's a chance to, in this great county and area of David Smith, many of you know that sculptor, follow on with that tradition. So I invite you folks, if you're interested, to take a look at some of my work. I have 2 books here. They'll be in the judge's chambers. He's more than happy to let you take a look at them, lend them, and bring them back when you're finished. So I guess that's really all I have to say. I just hope that we'll have some consideration as you move forward. Thank you.
John, we just talked a little bit about your kind of work that you have.
Oh,
in
okay.
Your career.
Yeah, well, I made some presentations here where I photographed the area and inserted digitally with the computer some of the photographs of the sculpture, give you an idea of what it might look like. One of them, I'm happy to say, it's not available. It's been purchased by the US Art and Embassy Program, and it's going to be installed at the new US Consulate in Casablanca. I have several works in that program, one in Kathmandu and one in Santiago, Chile. My work is represented in many, many museums around the country, around the world. I had a big project in Beijing in 2008. The work is still there for the Olympic Stadium program. And in 2011, another big piece at Tsinghua University in Beijing. It's sort of like their Harvard there. And then just recently, another big piece in Wuhu, China, and I won a bronze prize for that. Some of you may be familiar with my work. I had a 50-year retrospective at the Hyde Collection, not last summer, but the summer before. And I have a studio with my wife over in Wells, New York, and we'd love to have some local artwork grace your campus. Thank you.
If you could just remain there for a second, I'll
Yep.
ask the members of the committee and anyone else. Do you have any questions for Mr. Van Osten?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, and Judge Muller, I'll add for you, is we've been looking at a conceptual plan to do a lot of things around the county center. As part of the court project, the front entrance was part of that court work that we were doing. We're doing the last phase of the court right now. There was bonded money for that court, so until we see what comes out of that at the end, how much money's left, that will start to make the determination of what we do out front. The committee has all seen the conceptual plans that we have from Bella. I can certainly provide you both with a look at the conceptual plans, and then we can kind of go from there.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just one point to clarify, the books will be in the county attorney's office. It's
Okay, yes.
A little more
so
accessible.
easier, less foreboding than having to go to a judge's chambers from personal experience.
That was gonna be my question. How many levels?
Not open to the public.
So if anyone would like to look at those, and I do have some additional information I can provide to committee members upon request that John provided to me by email as well.
Mr. Niemer, welcome.
Good morning. My name is Robert Niemer, and I'm here as a reference. I've known John for a number of years. I have some of his sculpture and other artwork in my home, and he's very passionate about himself. He has artwork, he has sculptures all around the world, okay? And there's one that's very close to home, that if you want to see it and touch it, you can go down to Saratoga, on the High Rock Avenue, there's a little park, right where they have the farmer's market. And there's a sculpture there, and it's hard to figure out what it is until you hear from John. And what there are pieces of steel from the 9/11 tragedy. And it gets you in your heart, okay? So if you want to come close and feel and touch one of his works, go down to Saratoga and High Rock Avenue and take a look at it. The other thing is I'm here because I'm very involved with the culture in the area. My wife is on the board of the Hyde Collection, so I hear it all the time, okay? And this area is blessed with, the Sembry and the Chapman and the library and the Glens Falls Symphony, okay? And I can go on and on and on. And it would be nice if we take this gorgeous piece of property right off the Northway and put something there that blends in with everything else that's happening culturally in this area. And it brings it up to another level. And I hope it's considered when, of course, you have your budget and you talk to John and look at what John has to offer. So thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for listening. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
I'm sure we'll be in touch. You'll get in touch with them?
Yeah, I'll have the idea. Go through him now.
Okay, very good.
Excellent. Community should have it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you, I'm
Okay,
sure.
great. Thanks very much for having us.
Here. Okay. Item number one under discussion items, work order request program.
I'll take the
Mr.
first two.
Roger,
I'll take the first two. The work order request programs at 4373, and the fleet car request program is now at 2775 and growing daily.
Next item we have on there is the countryside adult home.
Of the 4373, is that total request?
That's total request since the inception.
How many are not, how many are open?
17.
Just 17? That's
Yep.
good. Okay.
thought you'd catch him, huh?
So countryside adult home, I reported on it last committee meeting that basically we were done. There will be some minor work coming forward. There is still some funding. We will get the generator done, the concrete pad for the generator done. That a lot of that will be done in-house. And I believe we're gonna move their propane and fuel tanks as well over there. But that'll be kind of a wrap up. But as far as the work with the contractor, that has all been completed at 100% as we speak right now. Next thing I have on there is the regional morgue update. So just a real quick, we asked for the committee last committee meeting to provide comments. I gave the committee until December 29th. I think I only received comments from one supervisor. With that being said, we got into January and or late December, January with a couple of rainstorms that we had and kind of things went on hold. So since then, we have provided the consultant with all the comments that we had as well as from the supervisors. They are addressing all of our comments. A couple of them were critical comments, but I don't necessarily want to get into them here, but you will have a full report and estimate next committee meeting. We can take that and move forward with speaking with other counties and seeing if they'll get on board to go forward with this regional morgue.
Very good.
Next item to talk about real quick is the Joseph War Museum. I'm not sure Supervisor Thomas, if you want to give an update or would you like me to give an update or?
No, you can go ahead because it's, pretty much in your,
Okay. So as of Monday, bids were on the street. I believe Julie told me that there are already probably 30 to 40 plan holders that have grabbed the plans already. So that's good for us. Estimate wise, we won't, we're ballpark somewhere 600, 800,000, but we'll wait and see what the estimates maybe come in as.
We have the funding in place.
Technically, we don't necessarily have it yet, but we have commitments, I believe, and I can let Supervisor Thomas talk about it, but I believe it will be from Octax. That's something.
it hasn't been addressed with the architects.
Okay.
Committee. So
Yeah, there was an application I know into them, and then they had to make some
think it's
changes
coming
to
up.
the application. But I think that's the changes that have been made, and so I think it's in the Octax committee's
The
here.
prognosis to fund this is very good.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Chairman. A little tight right now because of the money that was given out. So I'll talk to the Octac. I'll look at the Octax money and see what.
Okay.
Well, we'll receive bids later this month. We will, actually, I'm sorry, in the beginning of February, we will award it or bring it to committee at the February committee meeting, and then if funding and such is in place, we would award it for the March board meeting. And that would probably push us, give or take, to an late April, early May start. And we feel that based on the work, whomever the contractor or contractors may be, they will be able to finish before the end of the year, and we'll certainly finish before 2025. Next item I have on there, which I don't know why I didn't list it on here, but I'm going to talk about it real quick, is the Warren County Courts project that I just referred to when Judge Mueller was speaking. The work is underway. Electrical work has started. The GC is mobilizing this week, and the contract completion for that work is going to be sometime in April of this year. I'm not sure when yet. And that'll wrap up the entirety of the court project, and then whatever money's left over, as I said, we'll put towards that front entrance area. The last thing I had on here is I'll let the committee let me know what they want. I put on there, number 7 is the office swap for self-insurance and DSS Commissioner's office. So Amy Klut's office was on the second floor, kind of hidden away. And she and her department did a lot of programs. They did a lot of training. So it made sense that maybe she would be on the 3rd floor where the training rooms are and such. And the commissioner's office and a lot of the staff for the commissioner's office is on the 2nd floor. So we thought it would make sense to move the commissioner down there. I don't need a resolution for this. Back in the day when I believe Supervisor Gerard was the facilities chair, we always brought moves to the committee just to let you know what was happening around the county, just in case somebody said, well, wait a minute, we have office space here or there, wherever it may be. So I don't have to do that, but I'll leave it to the committee to let me know whether or not they want to hear of every move within the county center. This one's not a big move. I think in Amy's office, there was 3 people that are going upstairs, and then I believe 2 people are coming downstairs. But I will leave it to the committee to let me, I mean, it doesn't, I don't need a resolution for it, and it's quick to give you, information saying, hey, we made a move from here to here. But it's up to the committee, but
I think that's a good idea to just keep people abreast of
Okay.
who's going where. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so I know, but
It makes sense.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. On to referral and pending items. As I talked about, the number 1 would be the design updates to the front entrance. And again, you all commented, seen the plans, and it's just a matter of waiting till the court project gets done, and we'll see where we are with funding and what we can tackle. As you know, there was concept plans for all the way around the county center, but the first one that we would definitely hit on would be the front entrance area. So, and number 2 is the magnetometer discussion.
Yeah.
Well, there was a discussion before the meeting started about what the content of this referral pending item was. And I do see present the sheriff and the undersheriff. It's my understanding that there's a need to discuss sensitive information regarding the safety of employees, general public, and other individuals. And that would be a conversation, should the committee seek, that could be held in an executive session under Public Officers Law, Section 105, Sub 1, Subparagraph A, which is matters which would imperil the public safety if they're disclosed. If the conversation is about that and not merely about preferences, then that would be a valid basis to have executive session on this topic if the committee so chooses.
And I think that's a good idea. We have a motion to go into executive session. Supervisor Gerasi, a second by Supervisor Stroud. Any discussion? All in
Before
favor?
you vote, I just want to ask what other staff you may want to have in the executive session. I know it would be the sheriff, the undersheriff, and looking around the room, I'm not sure. Clearly, the representatives for the Department of Public Works. I don't know if there's any, I just wanted to ask that question before you entered the vote.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?